Hey guys, we're back. After our 3 long week break, we are back with another Venator update. Now, the reason why I haven't been posting for the past 2 weeks is because A, I didn't feel like there was something to show you guys. I've just been making repairs, making progress that we've already made, just rebuilding things in general. So I didn't really feel like that was good enough for an update. And with me having a ton of midterms these past 3 weeks, I've just not had time to really produce a good quality update. And the final reason for why I haven't really been posting on the Venator update is because I've been preparing to do something crazy with this channel. So recently I've been uploading other kinds of content. You may have seen this, but I'm officially going to be launching Saturday uploads starting next week. Next week will be our first Saturday upload, which will be having the long anticipated Micah vs. Will collab. At least my clone had a face!
Bro, your clone's face looks like it's taking a crap.
With that aside, let's get into this Venator update at long last, but make sure to smash that like and subscribe button down below because my goal is to get to 10k subscribers by the end of the year. So if you really want to help out the channel in some sort of way, because this is a very expensive project, please make sure to smash that like and subscribe button down below. Everything does help. Without further ado, let's get into the update. Starting off this week on the Venator update, we have a massive mess going on, and this is what happens when you build MOCs. It's the honest truth. I don't know how Coconut Bricks Studios does it. Maybe he just cleans up every single thing after he builds it, but when you're experimenting and trying to build something new like these engines, things become messy, and that's okay, but I definitely gotta clean this up. But before we do that, I really want to work on this section over here. I want to build it up the same way I built this up because there's a lot of Technic back here and there isn't a lot of Technic over there, and I want to basically be able to replicate what I have going on over here and make it over there and hopefully perfect it today because we have a lot more of these gray pieces and dark bluish gray pieces. So hopefully we can finish off these 2 walls today. Whenever I'm building Lego, one of the most things I find the most tedious to do is installing these Technic beams. Now I'm installing these Technic beams to enforce the engines because they're going to be very, very heavy, and I gotta reinforce the back end so that it can be supported, and that requires a lot of engineering in the ways of Technic beams. That includes the way you place the blue Technic pins versus the black Technic pins, because there's certain ways you have to place them to give them more strength. It's a whole big backstory, but I don't think any of you care to hear it. However, it's very complicated to do this, and the extent I do it to is insane. This just shows you the amount of trial and error it takes to make sure you get it right on this Venator project. There are days like this I wish I designed this in LDD just because of this reason, and the fact that I basically take apart everything to make this goal possible is insane. Okay, so we may have made some bad progress. We destroyed a bunch of stuff and made it stronger, which is a continuous problem that I always have with this series, is taking it apart and rebuilding it over and over again, and that's why this project isn't done yet. But this was a necessity because with the amount of stuff I'm going to be adding onto the back over here with engines, etc., I gotta make this wall super strong. So I had to redesign it a bunch of times to account for Technic beams connecting to each other on the back and front facades within the structure. We gotta account for all of the ways the Technic pins go in, whether the blue pin is facing this way or that way. It's very complex because these little indentations help a lot to figure out which direction the beam should go. So all this was very important to do, and it took a while. However, now we're gonna work on rebuilding this, which is something that's pretty easy to do. However, the fact that it just takes so long to redo it is really quite the pain because I have so many other things I want to do with this project. However, things like this just set me back and don't really give that much satisfaction in the ways of progress due to the fact that I've built it 1,000 times already. Okay, so we've made some progress on this section. We basically rebuilt this entire thing. It's a lot stronger now. I'm very happy with it. You guys saw all the technical supports that were going in to this area on the Venator, and we've started to rebuild this wall a bit. However, this section needs a lot of work. And that is because a few weeks ago, we made this really nice wall along here, this amazing facade, and an automatic door system right here. And recently, we got an order in from Pick a Brick that had more Technic gears and some of these tooth gear pieces. So what I'm going to be doing right now is basically fixing this, because right now it's not even attached, and putting in another one of these motorized doors on the Venator because I really think we need to get that done. And then maybe we'll lay up this section as well since we're working on everything at the same time over there. Okay, it's good to see that we are mostly operational. Again, we still gotta attach this panel to the side of this right here, and we still gotta memorize the door. However, we have this new wall built up, and everything is coming together really good. I'm really happy with how everything's working out, which is why I am now going to be working on making a complete full prototype engine. I am going to try my best to grind one out completely before I even show you updated progress, because I've been showing you several different iterations for a long time of how I want this thing to look and how I want this thing to work, and I think it's time I just grind out one complete engine, which is what I'm going to do right now. So we may not have a full engine, but we do have the structural core for a complete engine just about, except for the very tip over here where we do have to add that engine glow with that very nice detail. I'm not 100% sure how I want to tackle that yet. However, what we have done here so far looks really good. We got this larger rim out here that goes into a smaller rim, which was very hard to design, and it may not be 100% perfect yet because there is a small gap between this thing that I have rotating around here and this piece. I'll show you how that works in a minute, and then it goes back out again to this massive one out here, which will be one that's only 2 studs in length, but it is a big one on here. And then we just have this thing going all the way to the end of the Venator, which I'm really happy about. And of course, we're going to add lots of greeblighting detail. I know I say that about everything, but we'll come back to it. But hopefully my goal is to eventually add greeblighting and detail to these things. It's just I gotta get the basic forms of these things down first. So that's what I always try to do with these builds. But we do go back sometimes, like for this back section right here, we did add a lot of that. Speaking of the back section, however, I was very disappointed to see that the hollow table I have ordered was too big for the space. Yeah, this is how big the hollow table is. Now this hollow table was supposed to be really cool. It could have put like a Venator on it because there was a hologram Venator I could buy separately. I forgot where I got this from. It was a long time ago. I don't even know if they're still in business, but unfortunately, I don't think this table is going to fit, and it really is unfortunate because I was really looking forward to putting this in the Venator. However, it's just way too big for the space that I have for the back control section. If I take this out, look how much space there is to put something nice there. So it's a bit unfortunate that that wasn't able to work out, but I wanted to give it a quick try. But getting back to looking at the engine, I think our next goal is to try to attach it. Now, I have not been testing this that much to see if it's supported by this back end, so let's just hope for the best. Okay, so we attached it to the Venator, and it does seem to have, oh, let me squeeze that down a little bit. It does seem to have a pretty strong connection for this first half. However, the problem is, as to what I expected, this beam doesn't run all the way through to this end, which is going to be weakening the Venator a ton because of the smaller cube we got going here. So that is a huge problem. That means we have to either change this one, which is something I really don't want to do because I need to have some sort of a smaller column because it's supposed to be big like this on the outside, and then it's supposed to get small and then big. So I really want to have this small column that I worked very hard on. However, I don't know if that's going to be possible because we need that support to go all the way through. Alright, it's going to sag a little bit, which isn't great for the Venator. And this isn't even all the way on it. We still have to put a bunch of these parts on the Venator. So hopefully we can get that worked out. I just don't know what I'm going to do though, because I really don't want to get rid of that smaller connection right there. However, in order for this thing to work right here, we might have to. So I was going to do that, and my idea was to basically extend the central beam and make it longer. However, when I got to doing that, I realized the problem. So right here, as you can see on the Venator, you can see this 1x2, right? Okay, so we attached it right here, and it doesn't fit perfectly within the gap. That means we gotta expand this connection just a little bit in between the two spaces so that that function can work right there. So what I did was essentially just taking apart this section a bunch of times until both of the lines matched up perfectly and we had something that worked. This is a very intense process to do. Usually it wasn't too hard this time because it's just taking apart 2 sections. However, to get the studs to line up perfectly with each other is a very hard thing to do most times, but this was rather easy. It only took about 10 minutes, which has led us to our results right here. As you can see, in the center, we do have that big gap because we added all those plates. We will modify that and fix that eventually. However, I wanted to show off the engine is strong. It is holding, and I cannot believe this considering there's only 3 And I mean 3 beams of support right here connecting through this massive wall. And we got all this weight to hold. Now it is, holding. It's not the strongest connection, but I mean I can wiggle around, nothing happens. Now we still do have a lot of weight to add to it. Remember, we have to add a bunch of these plates to it right here and a bunch of tile, which is something I'm going to be doing right now. Editor Will here. Don't you hate when you forget to press the time-lapse button and you press it midway through so you only get like half the progress you made? Yeah, that's what just happened to me. But these are the struggles of the Venator update, so please subscribe, guys. Okay, so we now have the Venator kind of tiled off. We don't have it completely tiled off just because I have to get going to work. However, I do really gotta say I'm really happy with how this came out this week. However, we do have a lot of parts to order, such as a lot of these tiles. We don't have this in the right color yet. We gotta add a lot of detail to this. We gotta add poles that go from one end to the other. There's a whole bunch of parts that we need to order. So unfortunately, we're going to need to place some orders. Also, we're running out of some internal parts that we don't have for this yet. So we desperately need some of those. But even with all this weight added to it, it's still holding pretty strong, which is something I'm really happy about. And it's not even fully attached to the bottom of the Venator yet. So I am really happy with how this is coming out and just how strong this is. And I'm just excited. I don't know what else to say. I mean, this is the engine and it's finally here. Now, on the bright side, I've been in midterms this whole past 3 weeks, so I've been working on all this stuff, including the engine and the stuff on the aero side, basically during that duration. But now I'm on spring break, so hopefully, if the parts arrive within the next 2 days, hopefully, I can complete all 4 engines. This one, and this one, and this one for next week's Venator update. Now, I know that may seem ambitious, but I know what I'm doing now. I got this whole thing mapped out, and I really am confident in my abilities to get that done. Now, as for the back section, I do want to discuss it with you guys. The thing I want to discuss with you guys is this technique right here. So I got basically 2 of these and stacked them back to back. These white plates are on here just because I think they're from a set. I'm not sure why there's white plates on there, but regardless, I want to do a bunch of these in like a circle, and I think that would look really cool. Now, however, I do have to figure out what kind of piece I would need to do to get all these to angle. I thought I could use one of these pieces right here. However, I realized there's not enough prongs on there, so maybe I'll have to develop a different method. But let me know what you guys think about that down below, because I'll be making a parts order within the next 24 hours for the rest of these pieces. But on the bright side, we do have these massive blue pieces that I think were on the Milano, and they fit perfectly on the back of the Venator in the way of sizes. I mean, it's like a perfect fit, and I don't know how I got so lucky with that. So I'm very happy about that. I don't know what just fell. Something just fell at the Venator, but I'm very happy that this thing exists from the Milano set. I'm pretty sure this is where it came from, and it's so big and perfect. And I have a bunch of them, so I'm very happy about that, and we'll be able to put those on next week with hopefully some lights. Now, on the discussion of the lights, I don't know what I'm going to do with it, because I'm going to have to run it through the outside of it, and then I'm going to have to get through this wall somehow. And that could be a problem, because this is a Technic wall, and it's not like I can just add things to it. Also, what if I need to make maintenance repairs on the lights? This is a major support wall, and I don't want lights running through that. So we have a bit to work out there on what I'm going to do for that. So let me know if you guys got any ideas on that down below, because I desperately need them. That's the wrap up for this week on the Venator. Man, I just cannot stop looking at this engine. It's so cool. And hopefully, this is a little bit optimistic, but we might be able to get all 4 engines attached next week. I don't know for sure yet, but if the parts come in rather quickly, I'm going to place the parts order, and they come in like 2-3 days, we might be able to get it all done. All 4 engines. Not complete, but we'll have the rough form of them, and they'll look great. I mean, there won't be a ton of detail. Maybe there will. I don't know. I'm just really excited for this. It's just, I cannot wait for this. I cannot wait to get done with these engines, because they are beautiful, and they've worked so hard on them for these past few weeks, and I'm super glad that they're strong and not falling off or sagging at all, which is just great to see. I'm truly amazed with that. But with that said, make sure to smash that like and subscribe button down below, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out and goodbye.